Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Smash Controllers podcast. Today, I'm here with Tim from Teamkdgames. He's here to tell us about his journey and tell us about his studio and his game, and just kind of share some insight with us. How you doing today, Tim? Oh,
Ask your name before the show.
I'm
Big Oof.
KJ, man. It's all
JJ.
right,
Yeah,
KJ.
that's familiar now.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, because
KJ, man.
I did
So.
did meet you at DreamHack all those
That's
months
all
ago.
good. Hey man, it's all right. Like it's been a while. Like I said, I'm just able to
Mhm.
find everybody's car, and I'm glad you just got back to me. It was cool to come on. Hold on before we get started. I gotta get my notebook. Make sure I hit my important questions. You would think I'd be. I'm trying not to look in it too much. Trying to get accustomed to just knowing my stuff, but sometimes there's a couple things I want to hit just to be sure. But just to get started, tell us about yourself, Tim. Tell us about the studio. Like, was gaming always, the thing or?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I guess it pretty much was.
Mhm.
Because, yeah, back when I was in high school, I was looking at career paths. I thought I wanted to do IT. Then I also really liked, I really like playing games. Everyone does, but really liked Age of Empires in particular, the
Gotcha.
old one. And it had a level editor. So I started thinking, hey, I've got a cousin who really likes Lord of the Rings. Maybe I could make some Lord of the Rings levels in the Age of Empires level editor.
Hey.
And then I dug a little deeper and I'm like, hey, I can change the music too. I
Mm.
wonder what else I can do. And before you know it, I was doing all I could to make a Lord of the Rings mod for Age of Empires. And
Okay.
uh, yeah, changing the graphics, adding new units, adding new civilizations.
Mm.
And then at some point I realized, hey, maybe I could do this for work. This is really cool. I really enjoyed the variety of,
Mm.
you got some visual stuff, some audio stuff, some gameplay stuff, some technical stuff, and some lore writing type stuff, and putting all that together is just a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you're like a one man team. You do everything by yourself. Do you have a partner, or do you commission out work? Like,
Yeah, so I'm mostly one man team, but I
mm.
definitely commission out work.
Okay.
I certainly couldn't do what I've done so far all on my own.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some talented freelancers that contribute some stuff, and usually it's art,
Mm-hmm.
music, that type of stuff.
Okay.
And so I go to them and I'm like, hey, I want this type of thing, and we work kind of go back and forth. They're doing it, and I give them feedback, and then bam, got this thing, and then I
Gotcha.
go and integrate it into the game, and
Okay.
make it work.
Oh, nice. That's beautiful. I like that. I'm always advocating for people for collabs and stuff. Just
Yeah,
two creatives coming together to make something beautiful.
yeah. Now I'm a big believer that like if you get people who are basically get people who are better at doing that than you
Hmm.
are, then you can make something better.
Oh, for sure,
There's
for
yeah,
sure.
there's a
Or
lot of value
somebody
in that
that's
talent.
willing to, at least just help your vision come to life.
Oh yeah.
Just in general. So what's your current project? Like is there like a game you're working on specifically right now? Is it a couple different projects? Like what's your main kind of go to right now?
Yeah, so my main thing, I had been working on other things, but at this point it's basically just this. It's this game called Drift Boom Boom.
Okay.
And, I like to say just listen to the title and guess what the game is about. I
Sound
think
it
you played it
sounds like
before, so
it sounds like what's that game? Need for Speed Burnout? Is that the one where you explode like exploding cars? That's what I get when I hear Drift
yeah,
Boom Boom.
I think Burnout was the
It's one of
one.
those. Revenge. I think it might be Revenge. One of those. I don't know. But that's what
Mhm.
I get when I hear Drift Boom Boom. Like cars drifting into each other,
Yep.
exploding, or trying not to explode.
Yeah, you're trying not to explode, but
Oh,
if
okay.
everyone else explodes, then that works out for you.
Oh, right, right, right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a combat racing game.
Hmm.
Top-down view, you're driving around, you got weapons and stuff, so you're shooting the other cars, crashing into them, blowing them up, and this AI are sometimes a bit merciless. They're blowing you up too.
Oh,
You just
okay.
gotta respawn. It's super colorful, family
Okay.
friendly type of game, split screen. Uh, yeah, so very
Oh,
easy to
co-op?
jump into. Co-op,
Co-op?
yeah. For the story
Oh,
mode, you got
okay.
co-op.
Oh,
And
story
there's
mode.
a story
Okay.
mode, and it's not
Oh,
just someone comes up and says, "Hey, want to race?" It's like there's actually a story.
okay. Could you give us some of the story without giving us too much?
Yeah, let's see. So, main character is kind of this sort of bumbling FBI agent. Gets an assignment in a small town. There's a chop shop, so they're stealing cars and selling the
Mm-hmm.
parts on the black market. So you got to go investigate this. You go in. You find someone who's actually behind the chop shop pretty early on, but they manage to steal your badge, get away. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so you're chasing them down the road, trying to catch them. But the eventually you catch them. But then the
Mm-hmm.
police come up to you, and you don't have your badge. Your agent gets arrested, and they get away.
Oh
But it's
man.
basically this spoils the demo. But the demo
Yeah.
is the very beginning of what the
Okay.
game's gonna be,
Well,
pretty
that's all
much.
right.
Yeah, so you're now in this town. It's a small town in the mountains, and everyone knows everyone, and you're this outsider. So you're
Mm.
trying to talk to people, make friends, and track down the criminals. Figure out, and of course, all right. So this town is obsessed with racing. So
Oh,
there's a
okay.
good amount of racing along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like every level's a race. Maybe every, I don't know, 3 or 4 levels you're gonna be racing. But
Okay.
racing does factor back into the story.
Mm.
Hey, uh, I don't know, go find these. There is some street racers out there, and you got to go and earn their trust. Also, there is a more sanctioned race, and maybe you just need some cash, so you're going to go into that race to get some money, so you can get
Mm.
another car, so you can actually go catch these criminals because you smashed your last car. Good job,
Right.
FBI agent.
Okay. Okay, so it's sounds like it's like as I hear you describe it, my first thought after I know I know I said Need for Speed,
Hmm.
but I started to get like Twisted Metal thoughts. I was like maybe,
Yeah,
but
a little
but
bit.
um, it's not just racing. So does that mean it's like does the game take place like all inside a car, or is it like parts of like walking around? If
Yeah,
you
that's a
can,
good question. So, it's mostly driving,
okay,
and in the story levels, maybe you're racing, maybe you're driving to get somewhere, or blowing
okay,
something up, or chasing someone,
okay,
uh, finding something. In between that, interspersed, there's these little visual novel type segments, and you got
hmm
these characters, and it's pretty much linear. Branching
okay,
paths would be cool, but as just one dev, that's a little out of scope.
okay. No,
So yeah,
that's
you got these little visual novel segments. The characters come up, they talk, they say their bits, talk to each other, and then that kind of sets you up for the next story level.
hmm okay. That's cool. All right, I'm actually really intrigued by this. So why a car game?
Mm, yeah, that's no one's asked that question before.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's just funny because like,
Mhm.
oh, I've gotten different questions. Because like I've actually gotten more into cars as I've made this game. Because
Oh,
even though
okay.
it's a cartoony game, it's a really cartoony game. It's not realistic, but
That's all
I
right.
still want it to be authentic. And if you put a
Hmm
little bit of authenticity in, I think it goes a long way.
Yeah,
Just like a little something real.
yeah.
Uh, yeah. So I love RTS games. That's
hmm
one thing. But when I was thinking about what kind of game should I make, RTS games are actually really hard to make. There's a
hmm
lot that goes into that, and you basically need online, uh,
hmm
pathfinding, and just so many very technical systems that have to come
Right.
together. So I'm like, okay, as a solo dev, that'd be hard. Also, there's some other companies that, in my opinion, are making some really good RTSs these days,
hmm
in the kind of double A towards the indie space.
hmm
So I don't know if the market really needs another one of those.
Right.
Uh,
I got you.
but yeah, but there's this old game I really like. It's very obscure. It's called Asphalt Duel. It's not
Hmm
connected to the Asphalt series at all. It's a completely separate thing. Uh, but it's a top-down combat racing game with gameplay very similar to what I'm making,
hmm
and it's a really, really fun formula. But unlike a lot of other things that have had an indie resurgence in recent years, I'm like, hey, there's no games like this on the market.
Right.
I'd love to play something else like this, something new
Mhm.
like this, and there's probably other people that can too. So it's like, okay, it seems feasible for me to make something like that, and also, we're we need more games like this.
Yeah, I
It's a
got
lot of
that.
fun. Yeah, so those games, the top-down perspective, I think threw a lot of people off back in the
Hmm.
day. But one of my main thoughts is like, well, hey, we got controllers with joysticks now. Should
Yeah.
be a lot easier to use that, make the steering much more simple.
Right.
And that's overall, I want my game to be very simple
Hmm.
control-wise, so anyone can play it, and that's the only control option it gives you is simple controls using the joystick all around, or classic controls, which is how the old top-down racers work.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
some people, their brain just jives better with the old one,
Yeah.
or if they played the old games. But a lot of people, especially younger people, they get the simple, and it just
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
So that's something I don't think any top-down racer has really pushed the way I'm pushing it before, and
Hmm.
done it as well as I'm doing it.
Okay. No, that's I support it. I I'm not gonna lie. I'm haven't been the biggest racing fan only
Mm-hmm.
because I it's like it's almost like fighting games to me. It's kind of
Mm.
one of those things I would have to kind of dedicate myself to unless I'm playing with friends or competing against like, like friends or family.
Yeah.
Like, I can pick up Mario Kart, I can kind of real quick. But
Yeah.
like hearing your game, it's like, okay, it sounds like something that'll like kind of make me want to look more into like maybe not racing games, but maybe more games like yours, maybe
Hmm.
more car games, you know.
Yeah.
But I like that. So how long has it been in development? Like, did you start recently, or was it like something that's kind of been ongoing? You kind of start and stop here and there.
Yeah. So I've been pretty seriously pushing on it for, man, 2 years now.
Hmm.
So it's been some time.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a previous job, and I did the thing. I left that job and went indie. I was working
Hey.
on this and another project, and then
Okay.
end of last year, I stopped working on that other project, and it's
Mhm.
full time on this.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to get this thing together, make it as good as I can. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm definitely trying to. One thing I'm trying to do is make it. It's mostly a one man team so far. I'm trying
Hmm.
to make it look like it's more than a one man team,
Hmm.
and if I can get some publisher funding, I'll get some other people on it in a more serious way than just
Got you.
the freelance basis I've had so far.
Mm.
That would be huge.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'm working full time, and I'm gonna, grind it out until it's done. If it
Oh,
does
that's
well, I'll keep doing it. If it doesn't do well, I'll probably try to find some other job.
okay. Now that's very admirable. Not a lot of people believe in themselves or in I was let me not say
Mm,
even believe in themselves, but maybe not in the position to pursue something like that full time. Like, just take
mm,
the leap. And so that's very admirable. And
yeah,
it just shows how dedicated you are to your craft and, you know, to what you believe in. And, kudos to you, honestly,
yeah.
because I
Thanks, man.
hey man, the day I'm able to just be like, you know what? We going full time. Listen,
Hmm.
man.
Yeah,
But I
I'm
heard
definitely
you.
like very, very fortunate to be able to take this
Here's
leap
what I
and
found.
try
Oh,
this. Uh,
hmm.
because yeah, I mean, even if I was in a little different position, if I had more like people to provide for, then I couldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I'm
Oh,
just kind of
I'm
in the right
definitely.
spot at the right time.
Hey man, listen. The timing was now. No
Hmm.
time like the present. So
Yeah, that's for sure.
I heard you say you was working on another project. Do you want to talk about it a little bit? I mean, I know you said
Hmm.
you put it to the side, but do you want to talk
Yeah.
about it a little bit?
Let's
Maybe
see.
shed a little life on it.
I should probably I'll keep it. I'll say a little bit on that.
Okay.
So yeah, I was doing some Unreal Engine development on basically assets, code plugins that other game
Hmm.
developers could buy and use.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, and they were uh, yeah, there's some good stuff. I'm pretty happy
Okay.
with the stuff I made. I
Okay.
started making some money, but then Uh, and I was hoping to build that up as a passive income.
Hmm.
But then there was a bit of a shift in the market, and suddenly it wasn't really making any money anymore.
Yeah,
So I couldn't justify continuing to put time into
I,
that.
I completely understand.
So yeah.
So, like, how I know it's pretty early, but like timetable wise, like
Mm,
if you had to, not saying put too much pressure on yourself, but just kind of if you had to give yourself an estimate of when your game would be ready,
hmm
what would you
Yeah.
say?
See, I don't like to say, but I will say
Mm,
it's gonna be a while.
okay.
Probably when I put up, put the whole schedule together, and it's like this is how
Hmm.
long this is gonna take. It does end up way out in 2027.
That's fine.
So, yeah, I'd like to make it sooner, but
Oh,
that's kind of just
hey,
where,
can't rush greatness.
yep.
Can't rush
Yeah.
greatness.
Now, like I said, when you stack it all up, like
Mm.
that's just where it's at.
Game of the year contender. Y'all heard it.
Hmm
Y'all heard it.
There
Game of
we
the year
go.
contender 2027, possibly out
hmm
before GTA 6. So, what are some of the challenges you had with developing the game, especially as a one man army?
Yeah. So for me, I like uh yeah, there's a bunch. I guess
That's
one of the things is just wearing so many different hats.
hmm.
Uh yeah, social media and promoting your game is a huge thing,
Hmm.
but I'm kind of putting that on the back burner, doing a
Hmm.
little bit of that until the game's almost done
Hmm.
because if I keep doing that, putting hours every week on that, that's hours I'm not spending on making the game actually come out.
Got you. Got you.
So yeah, one of many hats. Starting a business and running that.
Hmm.
Uh, I when I work with freelancers, I have little contracts, and it's like, okay, make sure all that's squared away, paperwork. Uh, Reaching out to, I mean, just find freelancers to work with, and
Hmm.
another thing in my game we can talk about later. Licensed music. It's like, okay, so I'm reaching out to uh, some music producers for that and doing all that. There is the technical side, of course,
Hmm.
of I'm doing basically all the programming. Yeah, so there's some assets I've gotten from the Unity asset store that have been helpful. Some of them I've refactored big time. Some of them
Uh,
I've just had to decide, okay, I'm gonna have to just. It was good for the demo, but now I'm gonna have to redo this from the ground up. So
okay.
right now, I'm on some big technical pushes of
Hmm.
let me redo the car controller. Let me make a road system and a terrain system, which I was really trying to avoid because that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But the type of game I'm doing, isometric game, just has different constraints than other types of games. So the
Hmm.
off the shelf things I'm getting just aren't quite jiving with that.
I got you. I got you.
So yeah, I'm gonna be doing that. And then I was applying to publishers. So I guess that's more in the publicity bucket of okay, let me get this game, get a nice demo, and
Hmm.
then make some videos, make some promotional material, get all that together, actually reach out to publishers.
Okay.
Uh, I'll be honest, the art direction hat has been a bit challenging. That's
Okay.
definitely not my specialty.
Okay.
Uh,
That was gonna be my next question too.
yeah,
But go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. No, if with the freelancers, there is an element of managing people,
Right.
making sure it's all cohesive and fits together.
Hmm.
So sometimes I'll spend quite a bit of time going over and trying to give them good feedback. One thing I
Hmm.
love is if someone likes what they do and you give them good feedback and there's a reason for the things you're saying.
Hmm.
Usually, I mean, I'm a little biased maybe because I'm the person paying them to do it, but it seems like they're usually pretty happy to do it so long as
Yeah.
there are good reasons to actually
Yeah, for
improve the thing.
sure.
Because
Yeah, for
then
sure.
now they've made something that's
For
they can be
sure.
even more proud of.
For sure. I was when I okay, well, since we're here, like
Mm-hmm.
what art direction were you kind of hoping for? Like if you had to, I don't know if it would be easier to kind of give an example of another game because I don't want to keep comparing your game to other games, but just
Mm-hmm.
for the people that probably haven't seen it so they can have something to draw from.
Yeah, that's a good question because
But if there isn't one, you can just, just describe it as best you can,
yeah, I mean, naming other top-down racing games, I feel like comes closest, and those are usually pretty obscure. So
Hmm.
Asphalt Duel is one that I love. It's super obscure. Uh,
Hmm.
I could say RC Pro Am. That's super old. But that's kind of sort of where I'm at.
Okay.
As an NES game, that's top like isometric view. There was a Game Boy game, Racing Gears Advance.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I mean the other big top-down racing game is Rock and Roll Racing by Blizzard, but that one, the art direction in that one is quite different than what I'm going for.
Okay.
Overall, like I like to think of it as it's very simple, it's very cartoony, and that's
Yeah.
intentional because my specialty isn't in making intricate art, but
Hmm.
it gets the point across. I like to think of it as kind of 90s cartoons,
Got
kind
you.
of Western cartoons, so things are
Mm.
pretty proportional overall. You got outlines, visible outlines on things, and relatively bright colors.
Okay.
Game takes place on a sunny day. It's always a sunny day, I guess.
Hey, it's beautiful.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, and then the characters also going for that like kind of 90s proportional cartoon style.
Okay.
Some people say Disney a little bit,
Mm.
just a little less exaggerated. There's a
Okay.
cartoon I really like called Gargoyles, and that's
That
I'd say the primary,
okay.
yeah, art style inspiration for the characters
Okay.
is gonna be kind of like that, and hopefully fit well enough with the world because
It should. It
the very
should.
first demo when I brought it out and demoed it, I got some feedback that like, hey, the characters are nice and the cars and the world are nice, but they don't go together. And so
Mm.
I've been working on that.
Okay.
So next iteration, it should be much closer in line with each other.
Yeah. That's good. Hey, look, we getting good feedback.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, no, that's crucial. That's another thing is just like getting the game out, getting in front of people, getting feedback, which
mm,
that's a really fun part. I think that's a
how
very fun part of the process.
how like your first time I don't know where you first demoed it at, but let's say you went
Hmm.
to a con, like your first con,
Yeah.
taking your demo, like how was that? Because my friend Snakes, he said he was up all night, like the night before he was supposed to demo, and
Uh-huh.
he sat up all night throwing it together to have a playable demo. And I was like,
Yeah.
everybody's story is different, but I just thought I was like, like crunch time.
Oh yeah. See, there was definitely some of that.
Mm,
So it was really exciting getting to do that with like, hey, this is my game. I'm showing off at this con.
mm,
Uh, so yeah, that was really hype. I was in a booth, basically a shared booth with several other
mm,
games, and yeah, I was getting it together. So one thing is this ain't my first rodeo as far as games. Now I haven't done like a big indie game commercial like this, but I've done a lot of game jams before.
okay.
Uh, so I know what it's like to try and get a game together and ship it,
Mm,
and even if it's a little game and ship it. And the first
yeah,
demo was a little game
yeah.
compared to what it is now.
Okay.
So I knew I'd probably be up all night, and I actually planned, okay, so I'm gonna be up all night. I'm gonna put a deadline like a week before the demo actually happens,
Mm,
or I don't know, half a week, something like that. So
mm,
basically, here is my like kind of drop dead. This is the demo, ship it day,
mm,
and I did end up staying up all night, getting all that together as best I could. Uh, and then okay, it's done. It's playable. There's no crucial bugs that I'm aware of. Now I'm gonna go rest, and then 3 or 4 days later was the convention. So I
okay.
I got some sleep. I could talk to people
Okay. Cool.
without being a
Cool.
zombie. That was
Yeah.
very
Okay.
intentional. Uh,
Cool.
yeah, and then the convention stuff. In in college, I actually did this really cool thing with virtual reality. So you know when
Mm,
the Oculus and the HTC Vive were first coming out?
mm,
Yeah, so I thought, okay, this is super super cool. I'd pay just to try it. I wonder if other people would too.
mm,
Now I don't want to pay this much money for a headset just for me,
yeah.
but maybe I could bring this to a convention and other people would want to try it too. So
Mm,
I ended up doing that, and that was a cool experience. I got to I mean, try it out, got the games together, got a few signs, and like people paid a few bucks and they got their first experience in room scale
ooh.
VR, walking around with the motion controllers and
Oh.
touching things and or
Hustling.
moving them in real space. So yeah, so that was a cool
Hustling.
experience. But
Okay.
from that, I feel like I've done the convention thing before.
Hmm.
Uh, so showing off at a con is also had a little experience there.
Okay. That- Okay, all right,
Yeah,
I'm
still
with
it was
you.
thrilling showing off my own game because
Yeah.
with the VR stuff, that's other games. Uh, yeah, with the previous games I've done, it's like okay, little tiny game,
Mm.
or working at a company doing something, and yeah, I didn't manage the design of this thing, but here's a thing I did some coding on and showing it to people. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's still super exciting having like your own game
Oh, I
at a con
believe
for
it.
people to enjoy, seeing them enjoy it.
Right.
Uh, Almost just as good seeing them like if they actually tell you what's wrong, complain about it
Mm.
because
Yeah.
you're trying to make a good game, so
Mm-hmm.
that's just as important to hear.
Yeah. I get it. What's okay, well since we're on it, what's the best feedback you've ever gotten? What's probably one of the worst you've heard?
Mm, man, that's okay. One of the best feedbacks I've ever gotten is very early on, and
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes I sometimes I try to avoid being compared directly to Mario Kart because that's the main
Yeah.
party game, racing game out there that's accessible and stuff. But my game is called Drift Boom Boom, and the drifting works totally different, and the combat works totally different. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not Mario Kart. But
Mm-hmm.
early on, someone played it, and they was a kid, and they loved it, and they said this game is gonna one up Mario Kart. And
Hey, okay. I
so
like it.
yeah, that was cool. Man, I feel like the worst feedback I got was actually from someone who didn't play it, and it was
Oh,
from someone looking at the pitch deck for my game.
no.
So I don't know if that counts.
They just hating.
Yeah.
They just hating.
Yeah, I mean, partly it might have been my fault not making the pitch deck properly to convey the game. They basically said I need to rethink, go back to the drawing board on the game.
No,
Uh,
we better show them
but
now.
yeah, yep, that's the plan.
Oh yeah.
But
No, we got it. We got that picture on the wall, like you.
Mhm.
When this game come out, you.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I guess one of the biggest like negative feedback things was that point I kind of mentioned earlier that like, oh yeah, the dialogue and the cars don't
Hmm.
match like the gameplay. It doesn't match. It's two completely different art styles, so it
Hmm.
feels like two different games. And
I got you.
yeah, I feel like that's something I might struggle with throughout development to try and get it as close as I can. But
Hmm.
hearing that feedback early on was really crucial,
Yeah.
kind of adjusting my course.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. And it
yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't bad either because you would want it to be like cohesive across the board.
Hmm.
So, shout out to that person. Give some constructive
Yeah,
criticism.
honestly. Yeah, no, I'm very grateful to them.
Mm,
I actually asked them some more questions, and it's like,
mm,
I want to hear more of what you have to
yeah.
say.
I just know that creatives can be sensitive about their work because I know
Mhm.
when I'm drawing and when I would put stuff out, I haven't drawn in a while, but when I would put stuff out, I would just be like, I hate it automatically. I don't know.
Mm.
I hate it. They go see all the imperfections and
Oh,
then you
yeah.
got people, oh, it's awesome. You need to do more. And I'm just like, okay. Or you might get like one little detail. They're like, why is the foot crooked? I was like, I overlooked it.
Mm.
But I got you. Um,
Yeah.
you spoke earlier about the music. What kind of like sound were you going for, like with the music and stuff,
Mm. So,
and
have
and maybe
you?
sound effects as well?
Yeah. Are you familiar with Initial D?
The anime.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. So you know how when they race, there's usually this music, and
Hmm.
it's really upbeat and cool, and
Hmm.
it's yeah, the genre is called Eurobeat music.
Okay.
So I'd say like kind of mood and theme wise, Initial D was a big inspiration for this game, and
Hmm.
I want a game with Eurobeat where you're drifting around and blowing up cars. So
Okay. Hey.
that's what this is gonna be. I think
Okay.
one of the one of the reasons Initial D the music is so good is they did get people who just do that and like licensed it for
Hmm.
show. I am gonna try and do the same thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll have a few original tracks and some tracks that are okay. This is a Eurobeat song that made by some professional Eurobeat artist, and
Okay.
there it is in the game. Uh,
I
yeah,
like that. Hey.
I've gotten one so far. A very small label called Blast licensed a
Uh,
few songs to me, and I I was super excited about that. That
That,
was
no, that's an accomplishment,
yeah.
though. That's a big accomplishment. Some people don't even get that.
Hmm.
So that's cool. I like that. You gonna make me listen to some Euro beats after this,
Yeah,
honestly.
dude, it's good. There's a lot of
I've
good
been
mixes on YouTube.
I've been listening to a little off topic. I've been listening to like video game city pop iterations, and
Hmm.
it's been good. I was like, oh, I could listen to this washing dishes around the house driving, like, and it's just arranged. It's like video game music arranged like city pop form. I guess that's the
That
best way to.
that
So it's
sounds like
pretty
a
good.
lot of fun, actually.
It is.
Like I'm really into video game covers, and city pop is a nice
I will
genre.
send you one after
Yeah,
this
please
show. I
do.
will send you one. But I heard you say
To that.
earlier. I know I'm a little all over the place.
Uh
You said the game is sunny. Is it always gonna be sunny? Are we gonna get like weather
huh.
changes? Are we gonna get some rain? Maybe
Yeah.
some heavy fall?
So that'd be
Okay.
nice for this game for 1.0. It's gonna be
Mhm.
always sunny.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah. Just
That's
gotta
fine.
gotta ship
I
the
was just
game.
asking. Oh, I got
Yeah.
you. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
I was
Maybe
just
the
wondering.
sequel if there's a sequel, but yeah,
Hey,
that's a long way away.
listen, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
I hope so.
Um,
Hoping and praying.
so like, how did you? How did the story come about? Like, were you always like a creative? Did you just kind of
Hmm.
like throw things together? Was it something where it was like I thought of this years ago? Now at this point in my life, I can kind of put it together and make it a more cohesive story.
Yeah. No, that's a really good question. So the story, I feel like it's a pretty off the wall set of things that go into it because all right, so I like games with story,
Mhm.
especially when it's if it's a single player game or if I'm playing by myself. I like to have a story to go through and just keep things interesting,
Yeah.
rather than just like okay, go do this and go do this and go do this. Like I don't know, get more medals. Like I like stories to go through. I also love going through stories with other people.
Hmm.
So I decided from the beginning, like okay, there's gonna be a story, and because I've got so much emphasis on split screen, everything's gonna be up to 4 players, even the story.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
now, yeah. Now I'm not really addressing that in the story. If you have 2 or 3 players, it's I don't know, kind of like the first Halo where there's just 2 or 3 Master Chiefs.
Okay. They just kind of standing around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I guess the co-op isn't really part of the story itself, but uh, I mean, I like story. I like putting in silly, fun things. And in college, I basically did game development in college.
Mhm.
Studied IT also, but yeah, had the chance to make several games as a student and while I was there, one thing I did for one project was make a dialogue system, and it's very simple. It's just like, okay, we got some characters talking and hopping up and down, and there's some text, and I like that because you can do a lot with text.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not quite as expressive as the characters just emoting or animating, but I was like, I can't. It's a lot of work to do all those sprites.
Yeah.
Writing is relatively simple.
Yeah. No, I
I like
got you.
writing.
Mm.
Uh, So yeah,
You,
not saying everything I've written is gold or anything, but but
no, I
I
mean
do my best and get better at the craft as I
that
go.
that's all you can do. But
Yeah.
that's good though. Like, so since you're into writing, like you like into like writing stories, writing just like video game scripts, or like just writing like in general, like
Yeah, I mean I kind of like it just in general,
okay.
honestly. I've always kind of felt like I could express myself better writing than talking.
Same. Same.
Yeah. Dude,
Same.
you got time to think. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
iterate.
Right.
Yeah, so
Because
oh go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say because I have so many story ideas like that I type in my notes or that I write in my notebook that
Hmm.
I eventually will bring to life. But I just it's just always some kind of like creative writing going on in some
Yeah.
form of fashion.
Dude, it's so much fun. I mean, I feel like uh even as a game. Like there's a few times I've played this story game with a few friends or family,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, let's just set a timer for an hour or something, and we'll all draw. write a topic, put it in a
Hmm.
hat. Everyone draws this out of a hat, and whatever you get, you have to write a story on that theme in like an hour, and
Oh,
it's fun. You can just write
oh,
whatever.
I
It's
gotta
kind of like
hang
a
out
game
with
jam,
y'all.
but shorter.
Hmm.
Like you just come up with something
Oh,
crazy off the wall and see what everyone else comes up with.
yeah.
You get to
All
the end
right.
of the hour and everyone wants to extend it another half hour. But
Oh man.
but yeah, read
Listen,
it around the room. It's some
next time
fun.
you
I
do
mean,
it, call me.
yeah, dude, I'd recommend it if you just got a group of friends and you think they'd want to do it. Like, try playing that game.
I don't
It's
think I
fun.
do. As I said, you
Oh
gotta
man.
call me. But no, that's cool, man.
Mhm.
It just I'm always like I love to find like other creative people in general, but like other people that enjoy writing and drawing and stuff like that. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh man, starting to find my people,
Yeah, dude, that's cool. Yeah, you talk to more game developers, you'll definitely
I,
find more of that.
yeah, yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. um,
Yeah. Yeah,
what
I
were
guess all
some of the?
this I
Oh,
didn't
I'm
even
sorry.
really
Go ahead.
mention what the story how I got to the topic of the story, but
Uh, oh,
a
go
lot of
ahead.
constraints. Because one thing was, okay, I've got this little dialogue system.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello.
I'm sorry. I guess my watch is like picking up my voice, and it keeps thinking I'm talking to
Yeah,
it.
all good.
I'm
It's just
sorry.
the AI trying to fight their way in
Right.
to everything. Yeah. Anyway, I had a got the constraint of okay, I got to tell most of the story through text and not too much character interaction. Uh, but I wanted to do something like I said that's not just let's race. How do we
Mhm.
race? So I was like, okay, well, Initial D, it's in the mountains of Japan. I don't know Japan that well. I don't know if I could kind of contribute to all that exists in art by doing that.
uh,
But what do we have? And well, I kind of always grew up on the edge of the Appalachian Mountains, so I'm like,
mhm.
okay, let me pull that in. And we got some cool mountains. Let's make some mountain roads there to drift on.
Hey.
Uh, yeah. So then I'm like, okay, what about the story itself? I didn't have much ideas before I prototyped the game, but I had a
Hmm.
lot of gameplay ideas of what the game's going to be like. And yes, there will be a story, but I don't know what it's going to be like. And I used a game jam to make the very first prototype of the game. So I just
Okay.
had a crazy rush of like, okay, I've got, I don't know, 8 hours, 12, like it was a 3 day game jam. I've got a few
Hmm.
hours. I need to come up with something to frame this. Why are we blowing up cars? Because in the game jam, the initial prototype, all you do is like, here's a bunch of red cars, go blow them all up, and then you win.
Mm.
Like that's
Okay.
it. So why are we blowing up cars? Okay, let's. There's several old TV shows I like. I thought about uh the show The Dukes of Hazzard, where they're always carrying around moonshine,
Yeah.
and like that, that gets into the culture. And I'm like, well, hey, if cars are full of moonshine, they'll explode. So
Mm.
let's make someone going chasing down the moonshine. So like I guess it's let's make it an FBI agent because another old show, even older, called The Greatest American Hero, I really like. There's
Mm.
this very kind of overzealous FBI agent, and he's way more into his job than he should be. So he's
Okay.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll make a character like that, who's going and tracking down people with moonshine, and okay, so I need a villain now, and I don't know what they'll be like, but I also needed art, and I
Mm.
didn't have that. So I went online, found some like different character makers, kind of like
Mm.
how you make a me in the Wii, like just
Yeah.
design
Yeah.
these
Okay.
different pieces, put them together. I found one with a style I liked, but that one could only make females. So
Mm.
I'm like, okay, let me just female type characters. So I'm like, okay, so they're both gonna be female type characters. That's a constraint from that, and overzealous FBI agent. Let's do some contrast, make more of a lazy type character, and who's talking about these cars that are smuggling stuff, and I don't know, make them evil, whatever. And it kind of just built from there. I'm like, okay,
Mm.
I have my kind of type of setting I want.
Mm.
Uh, as I went on, one thing I did was like, oh shoot, I can't have an E rating if we're talking about drugs or anything. So, what's a crime that is E rated, basically? And so ended up on there's an episode of another show, old show, the A Team. I like what have
Mm.
you heard of the A Team?
Yeah, with Mr. T and those
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that one. And It's like, okay, there was an episode of that about a chop shop, and I'm like, that is a good idea because it's all about cars
Yeah.
and very E-rated type crime.
Mm.
Uh, so okay, there's a scum lord running the chop shop, and there's the FBI agent, who's a total outsider, and it's in Appalachia, so it's gonna be in a little tiny town. And then I kind of just grew it from there, iterated on it, and it was really cool because the first demo, the first game jam thing was like really rough,
Hmm.
just a very little thing. But then I had the first convention demo I did. It was like a story proof of concept, and so it's like, okay, let's expand this, make 3 levels instead of 1 level, and I
Yeah.
got to rewrite what I wrote already and then build on it. And
Okay.
then the next demo, it's like, okay, we'll do 5 story levels now, and build on it, and also rewrite what I already did, and then uh, kind of so I went back again. Was like, okay, now I'm gonna have to build the full game. Turns out making a full story is harder than making a little 5 minute story. Turns out, but just kind of kept building on it throughout the course of it. Whenever I had a really good idea, I'd write it down somewhere and had a mess of notes.
Yeah.
But
That is.
yeah, at some point I'm like, I need a full story, and I got serious about like writing it and spent a few weeks just focusing on building out the whole story. And
Mm.
yeah, some of those old TV shows, I like them because it's very like, everyone accessible, I guess. Like some of
Mm.
those old shows, they're not necessarily people's favorite shows, but everyone can enjoy a show
Yeah.
like The A-Team for the most
Oh
part.
yeah.
Like, you got stuff
Hmm.
blowing up, you got a bunch of humor. I also kind of like that it's that type of setting. It's grounded in the real world enough
Hmm.
that when something weird happens, it is okay. This is a strange thing. Uh, yeah, it's not like a Marvel superhero type setting,
Hmm.
where it's like, okay, all kinds of whatever is going to happen, so we don't care if something bizarre. I like the kind of grounded, real world ish setting, even though it's cartoony. That's another reason I love the show Gargoyles so much. But yeah, so we're sticking with that type of setting, building up this small town with just different characters, different personalities and stuff, and yeah, ended up outlining a whole story and gonna fill in the gaps. And after that, just with the practice of writing and trying to be a better writer, make a better story, I did go back
Hmm.
and redo the dialogue I had done so far, and
Okay.
just okay, same 5 levels, but just rewrite it and make it better. And
Yeah.
it's solidly better because
Okay. Fine
skill
tuning.
issue.
Fine tuning as you go.
Hmm.
That
So
that's
yeah,
that's the way it should be.
yeah, that's something
Um.
cool. I don't. I feel like games are kind of unique about that. That it's
Mhm.
so iterative, and I didn't realize iterative writing would be so cool. Like,
Yeah. You know, you learn something new all the time.
mhm.
Just tapping into all this potential.
Yeah.
Well, you
Sorry, I
got
was going off for a while.
no, no. This like I said, this is
Sorry.
your episode, man. Talk, talk.
Hmm.
Uh, dang. What are the game is gonna be on Steam, I'm guessing. But like, what
Definitely.
would you want to? Is it gonna be everywhere, or is it just gonna be on Steam? Like, what's the goal for it?
Yeah. So I love it to be everywhere. The
Hmm.
main priority for me is Switch. Because,
Okay.
like, if you got a Switch, like, you already got 2 controllers right here. And you
Yeah.
can just, like, play that with your friend.
Yeah.
So, bam, 2 player split screen. Uh, if you got more, 4 players.
Yeah.
So, for me, that's the main target.
Okay.
If I can get everywhere, I'll get everywhere. Because, like I said, I want it to be a very kind of universally accessible game anyone can enjoy.
Hmm. Okay.
So yeah, also Steam, of course.
Because you did
Steam's the
say you're
easiest.
going for that E rating, so
Yeah.
everybody's gonna enjoy it. Moonshine Man is no more. Now it's identity theft.
Yep. Oh my gosh. So the funniest thing about that is like I had a character, or the earlier iteration of one of the characters had a
Mhm.
cigarette, and then it's like Peggy 12 because you have use of tobacco. I'm like,
Oh
oh
wow.
man, it works well for the character, but like, is it worth
Yeah.
it?
Okay. So it sounds pretty. I don't want to say strict, but that's kind of the word that comes to mind. Like with what you put in there and what rating you get
Hmm.
for your game. So how do you I guess convey your character to be a bad guy while like kind of downing or kind of like pulling back on what
Yeah.
you really want to do?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I guess part of it is I am the kind of person who does like to make, I don't know, a little more cartoony, a little more, I don't quite want to say whimsical, but like just family friendly type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps a lot. I'm not like, oh, I want to make this serious thing, but I can't. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think whenever I do have things I want to do that are a little more intense or like might be over the lines,
Mm-hmm.
there's ways to make them subtle. And so yeah, it's like I'm not sure. I had a joke about someone not lending someone that person with a cigarette a lighter. Well, maybe I can leave that joke in, and I just
Mm-hmm.
can't visually show the cigarette. It's
Mm.
uh, I don't think that violates the policy, so I might do something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Or just kind of press my creativity at times to like, okay, well, what's something that's we can imply a crime, but it's not so heinous that it'll be,
Mhm.
you know, uh, pushing the rating up. So yeah, some of it is just creativity,
Okay. Okay. I
and
got you.
I don't know. The other thing that's nice for me is do you know the term ludonarrative dissonance?
I do not.
Okay.
Can you explain it to me and for everybody else?
Yeah. So it's the kind of thing you usually never really hear it outside of game design discussions. But it's the idea is there's a story for the game,
Hmm.
and there's things that are happening in the game, and they
Right.
don't always match. So like, I don't know, in Uncharted, when you go and kill, you're the hero, and you've gone
Yeah.
and like killed 500 people through this game, but you're
Yeah.
not considered a serial killer or a mass
Okay.
murderer or anything.
Yeah.
Like that's some ludonarrative dissonance.
Okay.
Like,
Got you.
yeah,
Got you.
what gameplay doesn't quite match up with the story, but
Mm.
uh, I'm kind of just. Some people say, "Oh, that's a bad thing," because like it's bad game design or whatever. Or I guess every RPG, uh, aside from things like I don't know, from Undertale's perspective, you could say every other RPG because you're just going and killing so many
Yeah.
things, but it
Okay.
doesn't matter. Well, I'm kind of in my game. I'm just leaning into that. Like,
Okay.
okay, the story we never address why these cars are shooting missiles at each other. We never address that you just blew up this other car. Everyone's
um.
totally fine. Nobody died, even though the car blew up and they were in it.
Right. Oh no, he
But
walked
nobody
away.
died. So why does this cop have 20 missiles loaded on their car? Why are we just crashing and blowing up mercilessly this car? But everyone's fine. So we're just not even going to address that in the story at all.
It,
So that's another thing that keeps the story more grounded and E-rated, even though the gameplay is pretty ridiculous.
yeah. Okay. I got you. Now, that's funny. That
Mhm.
reminded me of which Batman Arkham Knight when in
Hmm.
the Batmobile sections when you're blowing up the tanks. And they're like, oh no, they're robot automated. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Batman. Okay, whatever you
Yeah.
say.
Like, I'm not even going to say that. There was a person inside, but they're just
Right.
fine somehow.
Right. You
Yeah. No, it's like the
see them in a
other
cutscene
old TV shows
afterwards.
all the time. They're blowing, flipping over cars, and people are basically just fine.
Okay. You have
Yeah.
like ragdoll effects on the cars or something?
Uh, no, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say ragdoll. There's some nice explosions though. The
Okay.
explosions are
Hey,
pretty juicy.
even better.
Slightly customized per car. There's some if you look
Ooh, okay.
closely, but for the most part, you see the big fireball, and it's
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
Yeah, it's kind of like the
Okay.
punchline that just doesn't get old.
Okay. Um, what are maybe some technical difficulties you faced with developing or getting the game to run or just getting a demo out?
Hmm. Yeah, to be honest, my thought at this point, so I've got a few years of experience doing programming, game programming.
Mm-hmm.
So I intentionally chose a game that's not too technically challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things are, but I feel like my biggest bottleneck is the fact that it's just me and I don't have another person to help me on things and push
Got
things through
you.
faster. Uh, yeah, because with time I can address pretty much everything. I
Mm-hmm.
do personally find physics challenging sometimes, as far as okay, I need to do some math with rotations to get this thing to be oriented the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I need to figure out how to calculate what force to apply to this thing to get it to move the right way. And it's like I know which way I want it to move or how I want it to move, but translating that into code sometimes. Like I'm good at doing the software architecture, but I'm like, okay, make it actually spin around like this. That's a little more challenging for me.
Mm. Okay. I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
and like I said, the biggest upcoming thing is gonna be the road and terrain system. Uh, because yeah, I've got a plan for that, so hopefully it'll work. But I'll be making like using code to make 3D meshes and make them all look good somehow. So
Okay.
that's gonna be a bit of a new challenge.
Okay. So I guess when you say road and terrain, it's the way it looks.
Yeah, so
Okay.
well, not just the way it looks, but like the way it I guess is.
Oh,
Make it
like just the
exist.
road in general. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
no, something I found early on is like if you get a road kit of like, I don't know, if you think of like tiles to place somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that you play with as a kid or whatever, like, okay, you put them down and put them next to each other. But in a game engine, trying to put like, okay, here's these road pieces, and let's get this one to line up perfectly with this one, and it can't be a little too high because then the cars are gonna bump. It can't be a little too low. The cars might go through it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's got to be perfectly lined up on every dimension. That's very, very, I don't know, kind of very, very excessively tedious. And there's better
Okay.
ways to do that. So I got a system off the shelf from the asset store that actually lets you, okay, here's the starting point, and then just like drag out, and it'll make a straight section of road,
Oh
and
wow.
drag out, and it'll make a turn section of road. Uh, but that system is super cool. But it kind of does more than I need it to do. It's
Oh
designed
good.
for more realistic games.
Okay.
And my game being isometric, getting your car just like driving it perfectly straight, having
Mm-hmm.
it line up perfectly with the road and with the other cars is very satisfying. So
Mm-hmm.
there's some little gameplay touches in there to make that happen,
Okay.
make that easy to do. So you're not like driving slightly off of the road or slightly off of the car you're chasing.
Okay.
Uh, so trying to get the road system that I have to do that is, I don't, it's not designed for it, so it doesn't work very well.
Okay.
So that's why I got to the point of like, okay, I need to make my own system,
Mm-hmm.
but I do want that type of thing where I can just say, here's a road, make it long, add a turn, add a slope. Uh, so I'm basically going to write code so that uh, I can then go in and place some straight roads, connect
Mm-hmm.
them to each other, connect them to each other with turns, and then it'll generate 3D meshes for the roads with the
Mm-hmm.
right colliders. You can drive on the road, and
Okay.
then after that, make something like terrain that like because you don't want roads just floating in the sky. I
Yeah.
don't. That's Mario Kart territory. Uh,
You'll be
so
Mario Kart for real then.
yeah. So then make the terrain that makes another 3D, code driven.
Mm-hmm.
Make a 3D model that reads the data of where the roads are and kind of links up to where these roads are. So
Okay.
if the road goes up, the train has to make a hill to go up and meet
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that
Makes
gets a
sense.
little tricky.
Yeah, especially because you had to generate the code for it yourself. Like there's no asset help. This
Mhm.
is all me. So like when you do that, when you create that code, could you, if you wanted to now, could you put
Mhm.
it out there for other people that want to use it, or is that just something
Yeah,
unique just because you wrote it to your game?
that's a good question because you definitely could make it so that you can put it out there and other people
Mm-hmm.
can use it too. Uh, I'm not sure if I will because that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a little more effort.
Yeah.
It's also the kind of thing I could like after the game is done, take it
Mm-hmm.
and pull it out and like uh, put in I don't know a few weeks of work to make it more universal and sell it to other
Yeah.
people.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna do that from the get go just because it's easier to make things. Excuse me, like easier to make things to work with just your
Mm-hmm.
code.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
was
then
just I was more curious than
yeah.
anything.
Now the other thing I like about making my own system though, there is
Mm,
that possibility. Like I could do that if I feel like I want to. The other thing is I think it makes it much easier if I ever get the chance to add a level editor to the game.
mm,
It's like, hey, I've already got my own tools for generating roads and stuff. If I made a more kind of user friendly version of doing all that, then suddenly there's a level editor, and
ooh.
It's probably
That
not
would
going
be
to be
cool.
in. Not. I don't want to promise that for launch, but
Oh,
if the
I
game
just
does well enough,
hey, just the idea is cool enough.
yeah, couple updates down the road,
Mhm.
that'd be a really sick thing. I think.
Would you? Would you? I know the game's not even out yet, but
Hmm.
just putting it out there. What about some DLC? You thinking about some DLC possibly, or is this just it's standalone and then we just gonna worry about a sequel later on?
Yeah. So honestly, I feel like for this type of game, I'd rather I want to do a few updates. I
Hmm.
don't think I want to do paid DLCs
Okay.
because I don't. For indie games especially, I like to just
Hmm.
get the full game, and even
Yeah.
AAA games. I like to get the full game.
Yeah.
Uh, but once it comes out, if it does well enough that I can keep working on it, I really do want to add a few extra things. The level
Yeah.
editor being one of them. If people want more story, like I could make
Okay.
some more story levels and put that out.
Hmm.
People want more racetracks, put that out. Maybe another car or two.
Maybe some
But
car
yeah,
customization. You know.
that would be sick. Because I'm gonna have a little bit of that, but not not a lot, not a big customization feature like Need for Speed or anything.
Hmm.
I saw a chat come up on the screen.
Yeah. It's yeah. There you go. There you go.
Terraria No Man's Sky. Well, I don't know about No Man's Sky because I feel like they had a bit of a rocky launch, even though they did pull that game around.
Updates
Uh,
for 10 years.
yeah. I mean, I've heard they've done a good job. Updates for 10. That, if I can, all right? If I can, if there's demands, if there's still people buying the game after 10 years, then that'd be cool.
Hey.
To be honest, after 2 or 3 years, I'd probably be focusing on a sequel if it's doing
Hmm.
that well. But who knows? I don't want to hold things back.
Yeah, of course.
That's one of my philosophies on this game. Is I had when I was initially sketching out ideas, it's like, okay, I could do this, and then I could do this in the sequel. But
Hmm.
aside from things that are just not technically feasible, I've kind of decided that whatever I can put in that would be good for the game, I'm just gonna put it in here. This
Yeah.
is my first game, my big chance. Let's just make it the best I can.
Yeah, let's go for it. Because you can always update with the second game, but you don't,
Oh yeah.
I got you. Oh, that's great. That's great. I like that. Um, let me see. Let me see. I think I got all my good gaming questions. Uh, you probably hit them just through casual conversation and such. Um, is the game difficult? It's like,
Yes.
does it have
Yes.
like,
Totally.
what's the difficulty like? Actually, let me ask that instead.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. So the latest polished demo I have is a
Hmm.
vertical slice demo. It's basically a demo that it's enough of the game to get the point across, even though
Hmm.
the game is going to change substantially. So we got story mode and we got what I'm currently calling challenge mode. I might change the name. Uh, and head to head mode, which is a much smaller mode. So
Okay.
story mode is a bit easier.
Hmm.
The first level is just hey, go from point A to point B, find
Hmm.
this, find the house where the criminals are, and like you drive through and you've never played the game before, possibly, so you just get familiar with the controls. You've got a weapon on your car just to mess with, and there's no way to really lose that level.
Hmm.
You drive around, drive through a city, get on the highway, maybe smash into oncoming traffic, just get a handle on the physics. And it does get a little harder over the course of the 5 story levels,
Okay.
but not too challenging. And especially if
Okay.
you have 4 people, you're all doing co-op. So if
Okay.
anybody completes the objective, then okay, we win. Next level.
Okay.
So
Got
yeah,
you.
that's
Got
pretty
you.
simple. In the final game, I want to have difficulty settings that will change things, like
Hmm.
timers and AI, how challenging the AI is.
Hmm.
But yeah, that gets into challenge mode, which is a bit more of a kind of arcade-like or a little bit rogue-like
Hmm.
mode where you start with a little bit of money. You buy a car. I'm gonna have 2 starter cars. In the current demo, there's only the station wagon. Like that's all you can get. That's all you can afford.
Okay.
So you get the station wagon. Maybe you get an engine. There's a very simple upgrade system because, like I said, I want it to be the kind of game anyone can play.
Hmm.
So yeah, you got engine, handling, armor, and then you got 2 weapons you can purchase, and you got to buy them weapons and buy more ammo for those, so you can't get much at the start. But yeah, you get your car, get upgrades, do a race. Depending on the race, if you get more KOs, you get more money. You also, even more than that, if you place better in the race, you get even more money. You can use that
Mm.
to upgrade your car. Go on after a few races, qualify for the next series of races. But then the AI gets upgrades too. They get better cars. They get
Ah.
more challenging. Uh, yeah, rinse and repeat. Keep doing that. If you're not doing good as far as races, if your points are low enough, you just get booted out.
Okay.
But the main thing behind that is if you're not winning races or getting a lot of KOs from the get go, you might not have enough money to keep up with the curve. As
Hmm.
the AI gets better and better upgrades, you were ahead, but now you're falling behind. And
Got you.
yeah, some of the AIs are a little sillier. I feel like without difficulty modes, because I don't have them yet, I'm kind of
Hmm.
trying to give it a wide spread. So
Hmm.
there's the one really goofy AI that's basically always last. But
Got
there's
it.
also some of them that are much more aggressive and will drive
Yeah.
much better. And
Okay.
coming in first does present a bit of a challenge.
Okay.
So
You really gotta drive.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you do. And
Okay.
then there's head-to-head mode. It's a very short mode. It's just a someone wanted to play my game in a tournament, and I'm like, let me make head-to-head mode for that. It's
Hmm.
just 3 races, and it's the same rules as challenge mode, but only 3 races, and you get a lot more money. Your
Hmm.
money is tripled when you win races or lose
Oh
races.
wow.
But I did basically make the AI as hard as it gets. So playing that single player and trying to beat all of the AI is a
Hmm.
substantial challenge.
That's a
uh,
real challenge mode.
yeah, yeah. In the final game though, challenge mode is just gonna have difficulty settings, so you'll
Okay.
have the hard mode that's as hard as the head-to-head mode is currently, and then
Hmm.
an easy mode, something in between for
Okay.
most people.
Okay.
'Cause, yeah, I
Let
feel
me
like it's
see.
really you really get into it when it's intense as to whether you'll progress or not. Am I gonna win this race? Because everything rides on this. I want to create those moments.
Okay. Oh my God. I keep messing up my own show.
Oh
So
no.
before we started, I was supposed to ask you some important questions, but since I don't know how to run my own show, I'm asking you now. Um, what was your what was your first video game, and what was the first video game that made you rage?
Oh man, that's a fun question. So I've been playing video games as long as I can remember.
Mm,
When I was like 3, my favorite game was this old PC game called Monster Truck Madness.
mm,
It's it's exactly what it sounds like, you know. For a 3-year-old, that's pretty dang fun. Like,
mm,
uh, yeah, not much to it. When I go back to it, it's not like it's a hidden gem. It's like, okay, it's whatever.
yeah.
But first game that made me rage, I don't know. Cause like, so if I was really raging at a game or throwing the controller or something, my parents would probably tell me you're not allowed to play the game anymore
Yeah.
until so like I'm not a big rage
Okay.
player. Keep it under control pretty
Nah,
much.
I got you. Well,
Yeah.
we got our first non-rager here. I
I
didn't
mean,
think you were throwing the controller, but I was like, I know there's got to be one that's like, you know what? Let me put this game down. I'll come back tomorrow, or I'll come
yeah.
back later.
I mean, I feel like there's a game like that. I've gotten more into racing games as I've been making this game,
Hmm.
and sometimes I get like that with racing games, especially this one called Classic Sport Driving that I
Hmm.
really like. It's a really good game. Uh, but it's an indie game. It's super competitive, even though
Hmm.
it's a really simple game. Like you're going through, I don't know, courses are like 2 or 3 minutes long or something.
Hmm.
But if you make like one mistake, then that's it.
That's it.
It's a personal thing too, because it's like it's
Hmm.
not like the game makes you lose. It's like oh, your game over, but like you're not gonna get that time, and this game is
Yeah.
constantly putting you up against other players.
Okay.
So when there's that other player I want to beat, and oh, I just hit a barrier and now I'm behind them and can't catch up. That's it.
Mm.
I'm done with this.
Yeah. No,
And there's
I get
traffic in
it.
that game, so especially when I hit one of the traffic cars, it's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, a guy just got in my way. I'm done. And I like that element because it makes the game more interesting having the other cars on the road. But oh my
Hmm.
gosh,
No,
it's
I
like oh,
get it.
okay, I hate this. I mean, I'll restart the race and do
No,
it
I get it
again.
wholeheartedly. I get it wholeheartedly. So, that's all my questions. But do you have anything else you want to share? Any
I want to
others?
know what game makes you rage now.
Well, I'm not. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say I'm not a big. I don't rage,
Uh-huh.
but as of recently, what would like frustrate me is if I'm playing like Marvel Rivals, because that's kind of what I've been on a little bit heavy lately.
Ooh,
Because it's just something easy to pick up and I can just kind of put down. Don't have to no story or nothing. Just kind of
yeah,
play, kill
I
some
love games like
time,
that.
and just like when things aren't adding up, like if I'm hitting you but you're not losing health, and then you turn around, you hit me, and I lose all my health. I'm like, hey, okay, I let the first one slide. The second one, all right, I'll start to get a little heated. That third one, I'm like, yeah, he gotta go, bro.
Hmm.
I'm upset now. I'm like, you know what? Let me switch character. That's probably what it is, or but that's probably it. Sometimes in
Yeah,
games when things aren't going accordingly or they don't make sense, it, that'll get me. But I'm not like a super big rager.
yeah. No, I mean, I think that's a good thing that you're not super big rage.
No, not at
I
all.
definitely hear you, especially in those first-person shooters online when it's like,
Ah,
hit that guy, and
I listen.
well,
I don't even mess with Call of Duty anymore. Like I'll play if the homies like, "Man,
mm,
we just need one more come run." Call of Duty was my big rager because I was like,
mm.
I just can't for some reason I just cannot. It's just not working for me. I don't know if it's my settings, if I got to just play more games, get accustomed to it. But like
It's just get good. That's
that's pretty much a skill issue. But like Battlefield, I'm good. Like I can
mm.
hang in Battlefield. I'm at the top in Battlefield. It's
Oh,
just Call
nice.
of Duty. It just doesn't add up for me. I play campaign. That's it.
Hmm.
Campaign and sometimes zombies. That's it.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Hey,
Stick to what's fun. That's
that's what I do. That's why Call of
yeah.
Duty is nowhere near me. But that's all my questions. I
Mhm.
appreciate you coming on, Tim. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad you got back to me. It was nice having you on. Please, please, please don't let this be your last time coming on. We don't even have to talk about the game all the time. You come on, you just want to kick it. We can talk wrestling. We can talk life. Like I
Hmm.
said, just you know, don't let it be your last time coming on. But
Yeah.
now I'm doing something new.
Ooh,
It's up to you now.
what are we doing?
You gotta you gotta think of somebody you would like to see on here, and you gotta help me get them on here. You the first person I brought this to, Tim. I'm starting a
Yeah.
tradition. It's on you now.
I think I can do that.
Okay.
Just so happens I know a few other indie game developers, and
Hey, okay.
yeah, I think some of them would be happy to be on the show.
All right. Y'all heard Tim. He said he gonna hook us up. But like I said, don't let this be your last time on
Mhm.
here. I appreciate you coming on, Tim.
Yeah, I appreciate you
Everybody,
inviting me to the show.
of
It's
course, man.
anytime.
Of course, man. Everybody, you guys be blessed and prosperous, and we will catch
Mhm.
you next time.
Peace.